Thanks for tuning into the Salt Block. If you like this video, hopefully you like the others. Feel free to like, follow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, welcome back to the Salt Block. This is the program whereby which things really happen and information that's not normally conveyed to the masses is conveyed. Are you aware of the fact that from the day you were born that you are part of a script? Do you know the role you're playing? Do you know what God is doing in the earth and what you are participating in? Well, let me share this with you. All of humanity is part of a divine script. The book of Revelation and all the Jewish prophets reveal what God has done and will be doing in the future. You see, back in Genesis, when the flood took place, it says in Acts chapter 17, verse 27, that God laid the bounds of the habitation of men, knowing what countries and continents would be in their place and what nations and civilizations would evolve and what role they would play in the future. You were born in this world, but God had chosen the earth as ground zero. Ground zero, he's going to resolve the rebellion of all men, and more particular, he's going to deal with the resolve of rebellion of the angelic host as well. Because earth is ground zero, according to the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12, Satan and his entire kingdom is about to be cast out on the earth to be judged, and we're sitting right in the midst of it. Unfortunately, the church world, because of their carnality and traditions and lying but for doctrines, they are clueless what God is about to do as well. You see, Satan, it says in Ephesians chapter 6 that there are 4 levels of spirits. And Ephesians 6:12, it says there are, number 1, powers, principalities, rulers of darkness in this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are the 4 classifications of devil that control nations, provinces within those nations, cities, towns, and rural areas, as well as individuals. In the book of Daniel, we're told in Daniel chapter 10, verse 12, that the archangel Michael contended with the prince of Persia. There's also the prince of Greece that was also back then as well. These are dominions and powers that rule nations and cause people to do demonic wickedness, and people don't understand why. That they're controlling devils that are principalities, imps of Satan, to work for his authority as the prince of the power of the air, control the affairs of men. In the book of Revelation, chapter 17, it says that Satan will have a bride. His bride is called, the harlot. His bride, the harlot, is called the abomination of desolation. In Mystery Babylon, we're going to talk about it right now because Mystery Babylon is a mystery. How is it that the religions of the world are all consolidating and coming together to form a one religion, and it's manifests itself through the political dynamics, even with the American seal. You have the Eye of Horus, you have pyramids, you have the obelisk, you have the inscription on the dollar from the eagle or the mouth. It says "E pluribus unum," meaning one out of many. It says "Novus Ordo Seclorum," now it's the birth of the sacred or secret order. All these symbols are found, and all the things on our dollar bill, all right, in Latin, saying there's coming a new world order for the sun god, whose capstone is still sitting above the pyramid, but not yet on it. The ruler of this world would be called the Antichrist. He become the global Caesar, the global Kaiser, the global Tsar. You might say the global emperor, the head of a one world government. And so this one world amalgamated system will Satan himself will desire to be worshipped. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 8, it said, all those whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life, they will worship him and they will follow him. Who is talking about the beast and the Antichrist. He will have a 666 system, and that system, of course, will be a global system of economics. It'll be a global political system and a global religious system. 666, all 3 components to control all the affairs of men. We're told, however, you need to know the plight of those demonic hosts and powers and principalities that are doing this. In the book of Revelation, we're told in verse 19-20 that the beast and the false prophet, they be cast in the lake of fire and brimstone. We're told in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 10, that Satan himself, at the end of the millennial reign of Christ, he himself will be cast in the lake of fire and brimstone. And also immediately thereafter, we find in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 15, that death and hell are also cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. So Satan is using fertility cults, right? He's using abortion. He's using sex as a means in bondage and all these elements to control the affairs of men, as he did in ancient times and ancient societies. So the abortion movement is a movement that is designed to bring about the worship of power, demonism, Satanism, and also wickedness. In the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4, it goes on to say, Lord tells his people, come out from amongst her, my people, and that is Mystery Babylon. Those who are in the church, in pagan religions, Roman Catholicism, Freemasonry, and all the other secret societies, fraternities, sororities, to come out from them, my people. Lest ye be hurt of the plagues he will bring upon the earth for those who are partakers of this system. You see, book of Revelation chapter 12 again, verse 9 through 12. Satan's entire kingdom will be cast down on the earth to be judged. It's going to be kingdom against kingdom, light against darkness. All right? Jesus Christ versus the Antichrist. And Antichrist does not always mean against, it also means in substitution of. Because basically, there's coming a global alien invasion. But this alien invasion is when Revelation chapter 12, verse 12 is fulfilled. It won't be aliens, it'll be demons actually masquerading as aliens. And United Nations right now has a greeter that will greet aliens. Yes, they do. This was about 15 years ago. So that they are expecting this here, but Satan has sent imps ahead, his philosophers, his sci-fi people, to prepare people for the occult, around Halloween, fear, demonism, witchcraft, golfs, black magic, sorcery, shamanism, all forms of heathenism, paganism. And so these devils, when they come, they will look for hosts to possess. So all mankind who walk in rebellion against Jesus Christ will be preyed upon by these spiritual dynamics who will feast off of them, and we will see strange things happen, and they are molested, especially those homosexuals and all other forms of sexual dynamics. They will be attacked and molested by incubus and succubus. These are demons that rape humans, and they will see things that people have never seen before on the earth, similar to what happened in Genesis chapter 6 in the Old Testament. The Bible talks about that the eye of horrors, this sun god worship system, this mystery Babylon has many components. But there's only two religions in the whole world. Yes, I simplified only two. Patriarchal Judaism, whereby which you go from Adam to Jesus Christ. And then you have Babylonian mysticism, started in the Genesis chapter 11 by Nimrod, the great-grandson of Noah. And he created the system that would later go down into Egypt and the pyramids, and then from there espoused worldwide in India and all over the world. This system of Babylonian mysticism consists of all types of secret societies and organizations interwoven together to create a web of deception and deceit, even amongst its members. I must also add that there are two universal religions as well. The two universal religions, which are divisible into all the other religions, is Roman Catholicism and Freemasonry. Whether go to Egypt, in the pyramids, the obelisk, the all-seeing eye, which was the sun god, both of these religions have all these components because that's what they really are. They are totally antichrist, and they're, in other words, they are to be members, of course, of the bride of, yes, Satan, Mystery Babylon. So there's a global consolidation of religions, and its consolidations, we have amalgamation. The amalgamation comes in two forms. One is ecumenicalism. In 1967, the Vatican II, the Roman Catholic Church said, I'm going to bring all together my rebellious children, called the Protestants and Protestants, bring them together, and some of the Protestant Pentecostals bring them together, called ecumenicalism, to form a unified Christian front. And then the Jesuits and others working feverishly to unite all the world religions together is called, yes, syncretism. Syncretism is unification of all world religions to create a one world religion, engulfing ecumenicalists and all others for a one world religious structure. At the end of the day, there will come a global Caesar, a global Kaiser, and a global Czar. And all men, it says in Revelation chapter 13:8, they will worship him, the beast, as the great one of signs and wonders. He will blaspheme Christ. He will attack the true church, and he will try to set up his one world government, his one religious system, one world economic system, and also one world political system. Amazingly, 2 weeks ago, in the month of September 2024, the Jesuit Pope Francis said that all religions lead to Christ. What a big change from the Inquisition from 500 years ago, when Rome killed, through that, the Crusades and many other elements. About 70 million people were killed and murdered by Rome, either heretics or other, because they would not adhere to the papacy, or the claim that the Pope is the head of the church. Now, the popes are saying that all religions have and do lead to God. What does that mean? That means syncretism has been climaxed. We're in the last days, and this one world religion is about to take place. So, secret society, let's talk about that a little bit more in detail. Secret fraternities are all connected. Number one, most world leaders and political leaders, regardless of their ideology, whether it's Putin in Russia, who's a Mason, or whether it's Yeo in China, it doesn't matter who they are. Little Rocket Man that Trump called him in Korea, all members of the order. All right. Bin Laden, all members of the order. Saddam Hussein, all members of the order. It doesn't matter what religion. It doesn't matter your background. Most world leaders, presidents, are all members of the secret alliance and the order. Even the Knesset in Israel, such as the same. And those in the Kabballah. So you have all these interwoven secret societies and brotherhoods that defy political alignments, even religious alignment, because they call themselves the secret initiates. So 1/3 of the American presidents, by the way, were Freemasons. And ironically, in 1828, during the Jackson administration, America had its first single issue political party. It's called the Anti-Freemasonic Party. That party caused 60% of all the Freemasons in America defect, because they saw there was a secret government within the American government, but they were revived after the Civil War. The Ku Klux Klan was one of the recruiting mechanisms created in the United States, in Tennessee, and then also in Georgia, to revitalize the Klan. And that was done, and by the process of doing so, it preyed upon especially the ignorant, uninformed Southerners who want to preserve their heritage. And Albert Pike, was the writer of the Moral Dogma, a Satanist, Luciferianist. He was the one that set this up, a member of the Illuminati, etc., etc. These individuals were very adamant in setting up these elements. But they need also to penetrate all levels of government and education, your sororities and fraternities. And most of your colleges and universities, especially black college universities, are all branches of the Freemasons and the Eastern Star. And so what we have is a network, is that God, it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 18:4, come out from amongst my people. But this is indicative of what happened in Ezekiel chapter 8. In 8 there, the prophet Ezekiel saw 3 great abominations in God's temple. The men worshiping secret societies in the basement. We had women worshiping Tammuz, the sun god, in God's house. And then we see also that the priests had their backs to the wall worshiping the sun god. Just as it was done in the book of Ezekiel, so is it being done in the church world today, even the church. Many of your Protestant preachers, even now, some of your Pentecostal preachers, also Freemasons, they worship Jesus Christ by day and Lucifer by night. They need to make up their mind who they're going to serve. The term Illuminati itself is always one of the suspect, and always people talking about it is just, it's just a theory or conspiracy. Well, you know what? You want to examine the history and all the tentacles and all the elements. The reality is that it referred to the enlightened ones of Lucifer, claiming that Lucifer was God. Even our vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, of course, she's a member of the AKA, that is a sorority. Many Protestant pastors, like I mentioned, are members of the Freemasons, and also all Freemasons, including the Ku Klux Klan, worship a black man. Yes, Nimrod was a black man. The Egyptians, right? Horus, Osiris, they were black, right? Egyptians. And so what white Masons from George Washington to Benjamin Franklin to Roosevelt, FDR, all the way to even Gerald Ford. All these American Freemasons were all involved, to some degree in their orders. We also understand that 1/4 of our current U.S. Congress is also Roman Catholic, and an almost equal percentage as well as Freemasons, that's males and females. So what you see coming out of Congress, guys, not only do they have handlers, these individuals, based on their political alignments and their religious affiliations and their secret brotherhood societies and sister societies, all even blinded from themselves, work together, preparing for their father, the devil, the Antichrist. Even in America's most sacred chambers of our political arena called Congress. Street gangs, the mafia, are all also associated with, of course, the secret societies. Created by them for illegal activities, for black op operations for the government. They also use for funds to support other fraternal organizations and sex trafficking and everything else, for the occultic practices, from snuff movies to children who would disappear by our government, and they disappear for the purpose of use of children for human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, whatever they do to appease your gods. I know people talk about Haiti and Buddhism and talk about Santeria. You have that, of course, in Cuba. You have Obia in, of course, Jamaica, and voodoo in Africa. But also Europeans, from the Druids all the way to their practices, even today, the abortion movement. For some in the feminist organization, they claim it's a sacrament. It's a holy practice of a sacrifice of the firstborn child to Kronos or to Astaroth or to Moloch or Baal. This element of human sacrifice, all control. Even though women may think they're in control, in the feminist movement, they're not. Because the oligarchs, the Oz's behind the curtains, they're manipulating all the strings of women and men and minorities to bring about their demise. George Soros, or you might say Rupert Murdoch, or the Koch brothers, or other people like that are well known. Some even know, of course, in Canada, we had Robert Mueller. And then we have other handlers that most of them are deceased right now. Henry Kissinger, who's still alive, Nelson Rockefeller, Brzezinski, and also Robert McNamara were also key handlers for most of the key politicians in America, allowing the secret organizations from Skull and Bones all the way to the World Economic Forum, the Bilderbergers, the Council of Foreign Relations, the Rand Corporation, the Club of Rome, Skull and Bones out of Yale University, the Trilateral Commission, the World Future Society, American Civil Liberties Union. I go on and on and on. The web is so extensive, it's so massive. They control the media. They control your politicians. They control everything that people are exposed to. Now, unless you go return to the Word of God, and the Word says, do not make any oaths. Do not fellowship with darkness. What? Darkness have no fellowship with light, for Jesus is the light of the world, but they have made Satan himself the light, Lucifer, the illuminated one. So now that you had this quick discourse, do your own research, do your own examination, you research, you find out if the things I'm saying are true. I just only brought this to the forefront. Right now, this information was made available 40, 50 years ago, but most people still hold it in disdain and they don't believe it because they want to have willful ignorance, that they're being manipulated and they don't even know it. Now, have you discovered your role in a fraternity, a sorority? Have you discovered your role as a member of the secret brotherhoods of darkness, the Knights of Malta, like Joe Biden, who was, of course, the second Roman Catholic president the United States ever had? Or maybe the Knights Templar? All these groups, they all have the role to play. The question is, when you die, what role will you be playing? Will it be like Judas? Or will it be like the Apostle Paul and Peter? Will you choose light or do you choose darkness? Or have you been deceived thinking that darkness is light and light is darkness? When the Bible says in Isaiah chapter 5, woe unto them who call darkness light and light darkness, who call evil good and good evil. Choose you this day who you will serve. Jesus Christ is light of the world. He was God manifested in the flesh. He purchased the church with his own blood, as it says in Acts chapter 20, 28. And it says, he came into the world. He came into his own. He was the creator of the world, but the world received him not. But as many that did receive them, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, to get saved, receive the Holy Ghost, be baptized in his name, and walk in kingdom power over devils in the world. That's why Jesus came. Power of darkness. Satan is coming to earth to be judged. Heaven will be waiting. But hell is coming to earth. Don't be part of hell. Join the heaven team, and you will win. Stay on Satan's side, and I assure you, as Satan himself, read the book of Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, he will be cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. You do not want to join him. Satanists, Luciferians, join Jesus Christ while it's still time. Thanks for joining the Salt Block. If you like the content that you just heard, feel free to follow along by hitting any of the in-card links above. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Most importantly, leave some comments, hit that notification bell.